बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम अली अल्लाह मदद फरमा अल-वाहिदुल कहार अली अल्लाह मदद फरमा. Today we are celebrating Shab-e Miraj. Mubarakbadi to all the friends online. Prophet Muhammad was the favorite prophet of Allah. His title was Mehbubullah, meaning the beloved of Allah. And there's a Quranic verse, chapter 21, verse 107, which is being showed on the screen. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ, which translate as, and we have not sent you but as a mercy to the whole world. So the prophet who was sent to this world, he was sent as a mercy for the whole universe. So Prophet Muhammad was sent to universe as the mercy for the whole world. And when Imam Jafar Sadiq was asked, what does Allah mean? What does the world mean? And he had said, the world means your personal world, Alam-e-Shakhsi. So each one is a world. It's a universe within themselves. And Prophet Muhammad was sent to this world as a mercy for each personal world. So this is a beautiful zikr from Quran actually. And we are reminding ourselves, we are praising Prophet Muhammad, who is the mercy for all the personal world. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ 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 وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. So when we are doing this zikr, we are praying to Mawla, that Prophet who was sent to this world as the blessing, as the mercy for the whole world. So we are not only praying for our personal world, but for the Jamaat and the whole humanity, that bestow that blessing on us. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. And I am going to read this beautiful kalam, praises of Prophet Muhammad, who brought Quran for us. Quran is the book of guidance for us, so we can learn all the miracles, all the tawilat given in the Quran. So this is a beautiful kalam, Tawsif-e Jamal-e Quran, in the praises of the beauty of the Quran. And it says, the unveiling of the Holy Quran is like receiving the divine treasure. How excellent is the one who has received the light of the Quran in this world. The Quran is the paradise of light. It is the universe of light. The spring of Kausar is in it everywhere as the water of life. That is the true knowledge. The Quran is the pearl producing ocean full of pearls. The entire ocean, drop by drop and particle by particle, is pearls. The Quran is the paradise of intellect and soul for the Arifs. There are limitless and countless, unending fruits of knowledge and wisdom in it. The pleasure of divine knowledge is the life of this paradise. Why not? Since it is the Quran, the Furqan. Keep reciting the words of abundant good again and again, so that yearning for the Quran may be firm in your heart. It is the hospital for all from the world of divinity. It is a treasure, trove of God for all from the world of majesty. The service of the Quran is a bliss, O wounded Nasir. O Allah, may this service remain until the last breath. So be with me, looking at this beautiful translation, beautiful words, and I'll be uniting with your heart in singing it in Urdu. توصیف جمال قرآن. کشف قرآن مقدس گنج رحمان مل گیا. اے خوشا دنیا میں جس کو نور قرآن مل گیا. نور کی جنت ہے قرآن، نور کی ہے کائنات. چشمہ کوثر ہے اس میں جا بجا بے حیات. بحر گوہر زا ہے قرآن، موتیوں سے پر ہے یہ. سب سمندر قطرہ قطرہ، ذرہ ذرہ در ہے یہ. یہ بہشت عقل و جان ہے عارفوں کے واسطے. میں وہاں علم و حکمت اس میں بے حد و شمار. لذت علم الہی اس بہشت کی جان ہے. کیوں نہ ہو ایسا کہ یہ قرآن ہے فرقان ہے. آیت خیرن کثیرہ پڑھ لیا کر بار بار، تاکہ دل میں ذوق قرآن ہو سکے گا استوار. یہ شفا خانہ ہے سب کو عالم لاہوت سے. گنج خانہ ہے خدا کا عالم جبروت سے. خدمت قرآن سعادت ہے نصیر دل فگار. تادم آخر رہے اللہ یہ خدمت برقرار. کشف قرآن مقدس گنج رحمان مل گیا. اے خوشا دنیا میں جس کو نور قرآن مل گیا. وما ارسلناک الا رحمۃ للعالمین. 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 یا مولا مہربان، یا مولا مہربان, we all have gathered here, Mola. In your praises, in your love, Mola, we have picked up this book of Quran which is given to us by our beloved Prophet, Mola. Oh Mola Meherban, we are celebrating the Miraj today, Mola. We are expressing our happiness that our Prophet had brought this Quran for us. We are seeking the ta'wil of this book, Mola. Ya Mola, open up our hearts so we can learn the ta'wil. We can understand all the miracles, Mola. Ya Mola Meherban, Ya Mushkil Kusha. انبیاء و اولیاء کی حرمت سے مولا تمام جماعت کی ہر مشکل کو آسان کر مولا. جو جہاں بیمار ہیں، مشکل میں ہیں، تکلیف میں ہیں، کسی بھی قسم کے دکھ میں ہے مولا، یا مولا مہربان تمام کی हर मुश्किल तकलीफ को आसान कर मौला, जमात की नेक उम्मीदें पूरी कर मौला, जमात को हकीकती समझ इनायत कर मौला। या मौला मेहरबान तू जमात की पुश्त पनाह कर मौला। या मौला आलम इंसानियत में अमन व अमान हो मौला, भाईचारा मोहब्बत का बोलबाला हो मौला। या मौला मेहरबान, या मुश्किल कुशा मेहरबान, ये तमाम माजिज़ात की दौलत मौला हमारी झोलियों में भी भर दे मौला। या मौला, या मौला तेरे दर पे सवाली है मौला। या मौला, या मौला तेरे दर पर सवाली है मौला, उम्मीदों से मौला दिल भरा है मौला। या मौला इंतज़ार है मौला तेरे माजिज़ात का मौला, करम कर रहम फरमा मौला, और हमारी झोलियों में मौला तेरी माजिज़ात, तेरे दीदार, तेरी इल्मी दौलत को डाल दे मौला। या मौला मेहरबान, या मुश्किल कुशा मदद फरमा, मदद फरमा, मदद फरमा। शुक्रन लिल्लाहि वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह। Again, to all friends online, Miraj Mubarak. Let us now review about Miraj, the literal event which we hear. So literally the word Miraj means instrument of ascending, a ladder, a staircase which would take us upstairs. It happened to Prophet Muhammad during the 12th year of his announcement, after the announcement of prophethood. And it is a second great miracle which happened to Prophet Muhammad after the revelation of Quran. It is the night of ibadat, reflection, and its significance for all of us to understand what happened to Prophet Muhammad and what miracles he experienced. What is the meaning of Miraj? Where do we stand today? What does it mean for us today? How does it apply for us today? Why do we celebrate this day today? When we look at the literal story of Miraj, there are many versions of these stories. So one of the version is that this event, one school of thought is that this event took place physically, and Prophet Muhammad was taken to physical heaven after purifying his body. The other school of thought says that it is all spiritual. And we, being the Batini Tariqa of Islam, we believe in the spiritual aspect of this story. And logically that is true. So that night, Prophet Muhammad was transported from Al-Masjid al-Haram to Al-Masjid al-Aqsa. And it says in the Quran. Then he ascended to heavens on a beast named as Burak. Now this Burak was half horse, half man, who had 4 wings. Bigger than a donkey, smaller than a mule. Very strange animal. And Prophet Muhammad rides on it to go to the heaven. Jibril is there accompanying Prophet Muhammad, and he several times tells Prophet Muhammad to dismount and pray. And this journey starts at Makkah. Remember, we know the Makkah word is from Buka, which means Giryauzari. So this journey begins at Makkah, and then the first stop is at Medina, the place of immigration. Then the second stop is Mount Sinai, where Prophet Musa had seen the Didar of Allah. And the next stop is Bethlehem, where Isa was born. And after that, Masjid al-Aqsa, where Prophet sees all the prophets praying there. And in another story it says that on one of the heaven, Mawla Ali is there, and all the angels are doing tawaf, circumambulating, going like circling Mawla Ali. And Prophet Muhammad, when he sees that, he asks, "Oh, Ali is already here?" And Jibril says, "No, it is not Ali, but an angel in the mirror of Ali." And because the angels were missing Ali, so they had asked for one of the angel to be present in the form of Ali so they can do the didar and the tawaf of Ali. In another version, one story says that on the seventh heaven, Prophet Muhammad saw Mawla Ali's hand with his ring on his finger. So all these stories are related to Miraj. But let us now understand what is the ta'wil of it. What does it truly mean? Before we go to ta'wil, let's understand the background. Prophet Muhammad at that time was going through intense hardship and pain. He belonged to the tribe Quraysh. His family was from the tribe Quraysh. The family ridiculed him, humiliated him, oppressed him. They did not support him. All of the family members, they did not support him. And the year before that was the year of sorrow. He had lost his wife of 25 years, his uncle Abu Talib, who was the Imam before Mawla Ali, who was his protector and ally. So Prophet had lost very two important members of his family in that year. And then he had taken his message to Taif, another city, another place, to bring them to Islam, to invite them to true religion, and they treated Prophet Muhammad very cruelly. And in history it says that they had told their children of the city to go out in the street where Prophet Muhammad was leaving to stone him. And they were hitting him with this stone, and Prophet Muhammad was bleeding, and of course it was hurting him. He was crying. A lot of Giryazari was happening during this time. Lot of Giryazari. So he was going through physically very hard time. So Quran talks about all this story in veils. There are so many allegories. We do know that Miraj means series of steps or stairs. But in reality, it is talking about the vision, the mushahada of Prophet Muhammad of divine light, of a higher world. Chapter 17, verse 1 says, "Exalted is he who took his servant by night from Masjidul Haram to Masjidul Aqsa, whose surroundings we have blessed to show him of our signs. Indeed, he is the hearing and the seeing." So if we were to take this verse and look into the key points, Masjid-e-Haram at that time was Khana-e-Kaaba, and Masjid-e-Aqsa was the farthest mosque, which was in old city of Jerusalem, and that was the first Qibla in fact, and that masjid was built by Sulaiman ibn Dawood. Why would he leave Masjid-e-Haram, the sacred place, to go to Aqsa? It doesn't make sense. Logically, it doesn't make sense. When we look into word masjid, it's a place of ibadat. It's a place of worship, place of prostration. So Prophet Muhammad actually at that night became successful in completing of his first Isme Azam, which was bestowed upon him. And he was given the next Isme Azam. And due to his success, he was shown great miracles. The second verse in Quran, which talks about stairways, is chapter 70 from verse 1 to 4. A questioner demanded the chastisement which must befall Allah upon the disbelievers, which none can avert, Lord of the ascending stairways. The angels and the Spirit will ascend to him during a day, the extent of which is 50,000 years. Interestingly here, Allah talks about stairways, which means ranks of hudud-e-deen. And this stair is not a ladder a simple ladder which we used to climb. It is living ladders of God. And in today's time, that living ladder is the Imam of the time. To climb this ladder to the highest stage, the maximum time required or can be taken is 50,000 worldly years. How many? 50,000 years. But Prophet Muhammad completed this journey very speedily, very fast. Normally we would say during this lifetime. But Prophet Muhammad, after becoming prophet, within 12 years, he completed this journey. And he elevated himself to the higher realm. Now we talked about Burak, that Prophet Muhammad traveled, had this journey on Burak. The word Burak is derived from Barakah, which means to shine, or bark, lightning. Why would Allah have a head of a man and a body of a horse? Now, head in our body represents intellect, our identity, intellect. And human being the Ashraful Makhlukat, the best creation of Allah. Why would Allah would take head of a human and put it on the body of the horse? Horse who does not have rational soul. It's an animal soul. Why would he do that? And then he gives him wings too. So if the purpose was to fly, there was no need of a horse. It could be a bird. Why did he need legs? So why would Allah give him that kind of beast to fly to the heavens? Of course, this is a spiritual journey. When there is a spiritual journey, allegories are used. The ride has to be so special, so unique that everyone would remember it, would talk about it. So the horse allegorically used in Quran as Ism-e-Azam. So it was his Ism-e-Azam he was riding on. And the head of a man actually means intellect. Of course, he had attained the knowledge to elevate him. He was a prophet. And then wings. Actually, Allah talks about it in chapter 35, verse 1. All praise is due to Allah, creator of the heavens and the earth, who made the angels messengers, having wings, 2 or 3 or 4. He increases in creation what He wills. Indeed, Allah is over all things competent. So, when we talk of angels, it means that they have wings, they fly. And we do know that each zikr which we do, we just talked about the zikr, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. This is one zikr. Each zikr has its own angel. If it is completed in its specific quantity, that angel becomes alive. Meaning that wing is being bestowed to us, so we can fly. As Mawla Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, may our souls be sacrificed to this Imam, Mawla has said in his farman that make your soul light, apni ruh ko halka karo, so you can fly. How can we lighten our body? Do we lose weight? Is that what Mawla is saying? No. Mawla is saying have more and more wings so you can fly. Meaning actualize more and more zikr, which would help us to fly, to elevate during the time of ibadat. So 4 wings actually are representing 4 angels who were there helping our Prophet Muhammad. Allegories is used. And this wings actually means the zikr. Zikr which is done during the 23 hours, it helps during the time of ibadat. Then Quran chapter 42 verse 51 talks about 3 stages of spirituality. The first stage when a mu'min elevates himself or herself, there's a message which is being received through a messenger. A messenger comes and delivers the message to that mu'min. In case of Prophet Muhammad, it was Jibreel. He was a messenger of Allah. When that message was given to Prophet, Jibreel is an angel, he is a messenger of Allah, and Prophet who has purified himself through knowledge and deeds, he is also a messenger, he is a prophet, he is a human. And Jibreel is an angel. They both are messenger. The first stage, when mu'min elevates himself or herself, the message is received through Jibreel, alam-e-khayal. Thoughts become elevated. The power of imagination, the alam-e-khayal, that's a beginning stage. And at the second stage, the didar is given in hijab, in the veil. And the third is meeting of Allah, liqa. And about that, our Peer has beautifully said in Ginan, Nirala niranjan kahiye, nirali kahiye kuch baat, gunge sapna paya, samaj pachtat. That our Mawla is such, if you were to see him, he is so unique. You can't describe him. You cannot comprehend him. How do you talk about him? As if someone who cannot speak has dreamt and now he understands his dream but he cannot talk about it. How beautifully our peers have explained the meeting with Allah when the didare Khuda is bestowed upon a mu'min. This is how it would be, and that's how our peers have described it. So, the story of every prophet is different. But in reality, every prophet goes through Miraj. Take the story of Adam. Take the story of Ibrahim. Different words. But the essence is same. Recognition is same. Experiences may seem different, but observation and recognition is same. Attribution of Allah, for example, take the attribution of Allah. There are 100 attributions, meaning that there are 100 things, 100 subjects to learn. When someone goes into depth of the names of Allah, learning the attribution of Allah, one would learn that they are all interrelated. What one would realize that the reality of all the name is one. But that realization, that understanding comes when there is an observation of all attribution, meaning complete recognition. So one may ask, if we were to talk about Adam, what level of spirituality did he have? He had the same spirituality as Prophet Muhammad. As Allah says in Quran 30/30, Allah's habit does not change. So Miraj, when we talk of Miraj, it's the name which is used for Prophet Muhammad's spirituality. And this was not used for Adam. Why would Allah do that? Why would Allah say that Prophet Muhammad went to Miraj, whereas Adam had all the angels in front of him who were asked to prostrate to him? Why Allah talks about these different things if the essence is one? It is a test for a moment to use their intellect to connect the dots. Allah has said very clearly that He is a hidden treasure and He wanted to be found. And during this time, when we know from chapter 11 verse 7 that this is the end time, and during this time each one of us will be tested based on our knowledge and the deeds. So if we were to talk about Prophet Muhammad going to this Gare Hira versus Adam who was breathed the soul into him, it's one or the same incident, same event. It's about that one word, that supreme name, Isme Azam, Kare Buzruk, our bol. Now one may ask, if it is all about that one word, I don't see the soul of God in this one word. This one word doesn't have Miraj in it. It doesn't have throne in it. It's not universe as per se. There is no light is in that word. So what is it, this word? This word is a particle, a divine spark, which Maulana Sultan Muhammad Shah has very clearly talked about in his memoirs. And he said that each one of us has this spark. And it is our duty to protect it so it does not get extinguished. And the one who has understood, who has comprehended the essence of existence, it is his or her duty to let her or his soul connect to the universal soul, bind with it. So in other words, what we are saying, that we start with the knowledge of certainty, and if we were to continue to meet all the conditions, we go to eye of certainty. And that takes us to the truth of certainty. So it's a ladder. We go step by step further on. And very clearly Allah talks about ranks in Quran. We all have done this zikr, Ya Rafi'ud Darjat, or Rafi'ud Darjati Zul Arsh, the exalter of ranks. We seek that elevation because He is the one who is the Lord of the throne and exalter of the ranks. So in Miraj, what Prophet did? He elevated himself to the most elevated rank. Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah in his Farman has beautifully said that don't think of Miraj as its literal story. It is not the physical thing. It is all about Prophet Muhammad reaching to Asal Makan, visiting his Asal Makan and coming back. He went through Fana Fillah and came back. He became ever living. He got the status of Baqa Billah and he came back. So all these efforts of spreading Allah's word, doing zikr ibadat, going to Ghar Hira, fasting, purifying his deeds, all what he did was to elevate himself to be one with the Almighty, to reach to his original abode, Asal Makan. And same thing is mentioned in Kalam-e Maula, in which Maula says, Miraj Khuda ka Rasool paya, jine sab raat ki thi haq bandagi. The Prophet got to Miraj. How come? Because he did the bandagi whole night. And then listen to this. So Miraj momin ko hove, so dil se nikale sab dunya gandagi. The same Miraj, the same status, the same miracles are available to momins today too. But for those who will clean their heart. In one of the versions of the story it says that Jibreel came and washed Prophet's heart with the water of Zamzam. How does an angel come and washes the heart with the water of Zamzam? Water is knowledge. Prophet Muhammad, when he got this knowledge from Maulana Abu Talib, he purified his heart. And that's what Imam is telling us here. Miraj momin ko hove, jo dil se nikale sab dunya gandagi. Raat ko jage ek dhyan su, Pervi Rasool ki kare kirdar. He sits in bandagi with focus and attention, follows the path of the Prophet Muhammad. तो उस मोमिन को मेराज होवे अपने रब का दीदार. That मोमिन will get to the मेराज and to the दीदार. Rank मर्तबा बहुत बड़ा है. The status of the night is very elevated. Now night here is veil, night here is time, night is blessing here. So Momin does not sleep the whole night but wakes up and does the bandagi. Sab khalqat pave aram. The whole world rests, but Momin does do bandagi. Peer, Paigambar, Wali Aulia. Raat bandagi se sab paaye na. If they became Peer or Paigambar or Wali or Aulia, there are 4 different ranks. They all got this rank or status because they did the bandagi at night time. Miraj Rasul bhi raat mein paya. Ashak wasal pave maashuk. Prophet also got to Miraj at night time. Lover gets to beloved at night time. He meets the beloved at night time. जो तू सच्चा आशिक है तो रैन बंदगी से मत चूक. If you are the true beloved of Mawla, do not miss your bandagi time. So in conclusion, someone would say, okay, so I know what I have to do, and that is ibadat. Then why do I have to go through all this knowledge and learning? Why can't I keep my life simple and just do my bandagi the way I used to do? It is very recently we are talking about knowledge and learning and working hard. I already worked hard in my secular education. Why do I need to do it again? Religion should be easy. The world is example for us to learn the religion. Everything we did in the world is the tinier example for the religion. If you were to know, the change or the resurrection happens at 2 levels. First is spiritual, Ruhani Pakizgi, and then it is intellectual, Aklani Pakizgi. Ruhani Tarakki, Aklani Tarakki. And in the story of Miraj, Prophet Muhammad went through intellectual resurrection in Miraj. He had already been through Ruhani, spiritual resurrection. In other words, all these miracles or elevation, it happens in ranks. But the intellectual resurrection, which is Miraj, is the most elevated resurrection, most elevated miracle of Allah, the most elevated status for a moment, to be one with Mawla, to be able to become one, to visit the Asal Makan during the lifetime and come back. That's the whole essence of Miraj. If anyone has any question, you can come forward. Malali Madad?
Sorry, I didn't quite understand the difference between spiritual elevation and the intellectual elevation.
Good question.
So I thought the spiritual elevation is kind of being one anyways. So where is this intellectual elevation coming in?
Good question. So remember, everything happens in ranks. When we elevate, this elevation is also in ranks. When a Momin does zikr or ibadat, it is all for the spirituality. There is no knowledge there. But when he or she starts taking knowledge, through knowledge one understands the spirituality. The miracle starts happening during the spiritual elevation, but there may not be understanding. And we have very many examples in our Jamaat. There are very many people who have been practicing their bandagi, their Isme Azam, but they would say they have not seen the Noor. They may have seen the Noor, but they can't identify it because there is no knowledge. So it is with the knowledge that understanding comes. But that does not mean that the ibadat or the zikr they have done, it's wasted. That is also an elevation. But it's the first stage. Then comes the intellectual elevation. So if we were to look at the life of Prophet Muhammad, when he was a prophet, he was chosen. He did get the Isme Azam from Maulana Abu Talib, Maulana Imran. And he was practicing his zikr, his Isme Azam, from very young age. He used to go to Gare Hira, meaning a quiet place in his heart, in a secluded place, and he was doing this ibadat. But after so many years of ibadat, and remember he was already Amin or Sadiq, meaning his deeds were pure. And he was doing this ibadat and Jibrail appeared to him. And what did he say? Ikra. Ikra bismikal rabbikal lazi. Read. Read by the name of the God. And he says, Prophet says, I know not what you want me to read. That does not mean that he was not educated. He was saying that I do not know how to read this spiritual chapter you are telling me to read. That was his spiritual resurrection, and his journey continues. And remember, in Miraj, I indicated very clearly that the journey begins from Makkah. And we now know the Makkah is from the word Bakka, which means Girya Azari. So if the zikr or ibadat done without Girya Azari, it's like you are walking by doing the zikr or ibadat. But when you are doing it with Girya Azari, I would say you're flying now with your ibadat and zikr. After the experience of Jibrail coming to him, revelation started. It did not stop. It continued for 12 years. He lost his wife, he lost his uncle, went through a lot of pains, lot of tests on him, lots of tests. And then comes the Miraj. That's another level of elevation. And that is intellectual resurrection. So it's a journey which happens step by step. Everything happens step by step. And that is why it is very important to seek knowledge to understand the spiritual journey. Without knowledge, it is like we are traveling in a boat with one oar, meaning that we are going round and round. And we think we are traveling because we are working hard. We are moving that oar, we are doing zikr ibadat, we are going to Jamaat Khana, we are giving the dasson, but there is no knowledge. So yes, the hard work is there, but there is no progress because it's going round and round. Any other question?
So Nama, sorry. So then, what is the difference between zikr and Girya Azari then?
Oh, okay.
Is there a difference there? I'm sorry.
Yes, there is. I assume that you've been attending this session, so you would know. But it's all right. It's all right.
I'm sorry, I came in late. Sorry.
Oh no, that's all right. That's okay. Zikr, we all do zikr. Like with dua, we do tasbih in zikr, right? But we do say Girya Azari ji tasbih. The tasbih, let's say Ya Ali, Ya Muhammad, Ya Ali, Ya Muhammad, it's the tasbih. It's a zikr. But a zikr which is done with Girya Azari, meaning that with the word Girya Azari means to weep intensely, to shed tears. And shedding of tears can only happen when we fully understand the meaning of the tasbih we are doing. We are connected to it 100%. We are connected in our thoughts, in our being with Mawla. And we have this love in our heart. And when we do zikr with Girya Azari, it is elevated very fast. So there's a difference between doing simply zikr but doing zikr with Girya Azari. Did I answer your question, Arif?
Yes. Yes, you did. Thank you so much.
I want to ask you, when you do Girya Azari, you cry, right? But does it also mean like you're begging to Allah?
Mm-hmm.
So if you didn't cry, but you're begging,
Okay.
is it the same as Girya Azari?
Okay. So yes, we can beg. Why would we not? For example, not sure 100% I understand your question, but let me just take this word of begging. I will take my example. I am needy. My intellect is needy intellect. I have so many flaws in me. And He is so merciful, Mawla. But then, seeing my flaws, I am ashamed of myself that I have not purified the way I should have, being the follower of Mawla. So I'm begging Mawla to help me to purify myself. I'm begging Mawla to help me suppress or kill my carnal soul. I am begging Mawla for his Ruhani and Nurani Didar. Yes, I am begging. Is it Giri Azari? Yes, it is Giri Azari. The reason of Giri Azari can be very different. And someone asked here a question, I can relate to it a bit, about the pain. Somebody goes through difficulties. It can be any kind of pain, loss of wealth, loss of health, COVID-19. I mean, you name it, any kind of difficulty. We all are in same boat with different kind of difficulties. Mawla tests moments. Because of those tests, we are able to do Giri Azari because there's a pain in our heart. It becomes easier to shed tears because we are hurting. And who are we going to seek help from? Our Mawla. So we do Giri Azari. Though this is not related to Dasond as it's been asked. Dasond is a different topic, but Dasond of the body is to physically go to Jamaat Khana, physically doing the zikr, physically doing things. That's a Dasond of the body. But Giri Azari, Laila, as you asked, the reasons could be different. In the beginning, we need something to do Giri Azari. For example, it could be our pain. It could be somebody hurt us, and that becomes the reason. One day we are feeling grateful, and that becomes the reason. The other day it becomes our health, not feeling very well, not being able to do something, that becomes the reason. When a Giri Azari becomes a habit and we keep seeking his love, I am so poor. I do not know about you all. I can talk about my flaws and my limitations. I am still asking him to give me his love because I don't still love him the way I should be loving him. So one of the prayer which I love to say is, Mawla, teach me how to love you. Because I do not know how to love. I still love this world. And I don't want to do that. I want to love my Mawla. A time comes when you do not need a reason to do Giri Azari. Hurt, loss, pain, difficulty. Now you are doing the Giri Azari to seek him. And that's what Prophet Muhammad was doing at that time. His love had reached at the peak. When there's a world inside us, there's no space for the divine love. And that is what it meant when the story says that the Jibreel washed Prophet's heart with Zamzam. It was through the spirituality and intellect, both level of knowledge and the zikr, ibadat, the inner heart was cleaned up. When it was cleaned up, meaning that there was a space now for the divine love. Maulana Baba has very clearly said that I do not want to live in this whole world but in the heart of a moment. But that moment's heart has to be exalted, purified. Imam ke rehne ke shayna shan hona chahiye.
Okay, Baima, I have a question. When we have understood the Batin or the Tawil of Masjid al-Haram, then how should we understand Masjid al-Aqsa, which is in Jerusalem?
Subhanallah. That means that in spirituality, there is not only one Ism Azam. If we were to review chapter 2, after verse 30, 31, 32 somewhere, it says in Quran that Adam was given Asma-e Izam, not one Ism Azam, but the plural of Ism Azam, several Ism Azam, meaning that in the path of spirituality, there is not only one Ism Azam. If one completes that Ism Azam, then there is another Ism Azam, then there is another Ism Azam. So Dur ki Masjid was the other Ism Azam where he reached.
Okay, Baima. And the body was of animal and the head was of man. So can we interpret as like the Nafse Ammara, the animal body was ruled by, taken over by the intellect. So that is what we have to do in Ibadat. That we have to control our Nafse Ammara by our intellect. Only then we can fly.
SubhanAllah, that could be one understanding.
One more question. Why is the masjid is called Al-Haram? Haram is not a very good word.
The word is not same as that word of haram, that you cannot eat, it's halal or it's haram. It's not the same. In fact, the haram means sacred.
Okay. Thank you.
What is the essence of Miraj? Miraj, we talked about it. The meaning, the essence of Miraj is to get to Asal Makan during the lifetime. Mutu kabla anta mutu. Imam or Iman? Iman is our faith. So faith could be at the level of blind faith. My parents have told me, go to morning khane, give the son, do dua. That's it. That's my Iman. Blind faith. I'm just doing what my parents told me to do. I copied, I learned. Mehmani karani hai, nandi deni hai. Exactly what my parents did. And Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah has said in his Farman, Mullah has said that if you were to follow physical deen, meaning just follow what our parents used to do and we saw it as kids and we learned how to do it, that is behaving like a monkey. Monkey see, monkey do. And this is what Mullah says in his Farman. So that is Iman. Iman, the level, the status of Iman can be elevated from blind faith to the faith with knowledge. Certainty, the knowledge of certainty, the eye of certainty, the truth of certainty. These are all levels of certainty. Intellectual knowledge. Intellect is, we do have intellect and our faith is very clear. Imam's farmans are so many that our faith is based on intellect. We do not do anything because that's how it's been done by our parents or that's how you should do. No, what is the meaning of it? Why am I doing it? There has to be a logical reason for me to follow or do the way it's been told to me. So we look for logic intellectually and then we accept it. Is Giryazari same as Venti? Yes. Venti is the word used by our peers, and when they were saying the Venti, actually they were doing the Giryazari. In fact, if we were to read Satara Venti with the understanding of it, there is no way we would not be shedding tears. Beautiful Giryazari. What is Dil Thi Robu જોઈએ? Okay. In Gujarati, I think Maula says in his Farman that you need to cry with your heart. Again, it's a higher level of Giryazari. So in the beginning, when we do not know how to do Giryazari, we use words, we sing, we do zikr, our pain helps us, and then love is there. And very simple example, if in this world, if we have experienced the physical love, men to woman, woman to man, and there is a separation. Heart seeks the lover constantly. There is a pain inside. Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah in his memoir says that if you have experienced this physical worldly love in this world, you have experienced divine love in fractions. So Dil Thi Rovu is that high level of desperation that there are no tears left in your eyes, but you're constantly crying, you're constantly seeking. It is being said about Prophet Ibrahim that he would be constantly sighing. Why would a person sigh? Because there's something felt inside and you cannot contain it. And you would breathe like you're sighing. And it has been said about him that he was constantly doing Giryazari. In his heart, there was constantly tears being shed. So tears are not only shed physically, they are shed inside too. But it comes with time and practice. So in the beginning, we have to do everything physically. Physical is the door to Batin. So Jaan ki jaan, if my body, what is the soul of my body? My soul. But my intellect is the soul of the soul. What do I mean by that? I mean that first comes the physical practices, which is the door to Batin. And when we understand the Batin, then comes the intellect, which is the Batin of the Batin. That's why our life is at 3 levels. physical, spiritual, and intellectual. All three have to connect. We only have learned to connect at the level of spirituality. So we know of zikr, we know of ibadat, we still do not know of giryazari, we don't practice it. We need to do that to complete this level of spirituality. So physical is door to the spirituality, and then spirituality will take us to intellectual level. Any other question?
The physical and then spirituality, and then would that be the same as marifat?
Good question. So marifat is at the higher level. Again, remember, marifat is not, I have to reach to this glass and I have marifat. No, it comes in stages. There are steps within steps. But if you were to say the highest recognition, the complete recognition, it's at the level of intellectual. And intellectual you can't reach if you don't have the spiritual level first. One cannot reach to spirituality until there's a physical purification. Physical purification does not only mean having a shower and clean using a soap. That's physical cleanliness. But physical cleanliness also involves, when you talk in this context, our ethics, our morals, our deeds, and then doing zikr ibadat. This purification of our deeds connects to our zikr ibadat, which is spiritual, and then comes the intellectual purification with true knowledge, and then we get to the complete marifat, and that is what Miraj is all about. She asks, Prophet Muhammad is the universal intellect from which emanated the universal soul. Then why he needs Ism from the universal soul? So what you are doing, you are looking at the journey from here. And I'm saying from here, go there. Where he has reached at the level of universal intellect, he does not need to. But Allah's mercy is so amazing. Allah's habit does not change. Allah's habit does not change, and it is mentioned in Quran. Even the Prophet has to start his journey from the beginning. The difference is that the nur they are able to get to it very fast, and it is called Noor-e Fa'al. When we have our Ism Azam, we are walking step by step. Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah has said in his Farman in Baitul Khiyal that one can complete his Ism Azam 3 months. In other places he has said you can do it in 3 days too. So Maula's mercy is for all. But when we talk of Ahl-e-Bayt, Nurani family, they also go through the steps, but their journey is like sitting in a rocket. It's different, but they do also go through the journey. Otherwise, humans are complaining beings. We know that. Allah's mercy is that everybody has to go through the same process. And very amazingly, we have example of Salman Farsi, Rahim Basaria, who were common ordinary people. But they worked so hard, they went through such sacrifices. They were not Nurani family members. They were not Ahl-e-Bayt, but they became. The path is same for everyone. It is with the free will who walks on the path to meet the conditions to get to where we need to get. So if you were to look from here, yes, he did not need to. But remember, we are talking about journey. So when he started the journey, he needed Ism Azam, and he got the Ism Azam from the Imam of the time, Maulana Imran, who was the father of Maulana Ali. So he got Ism Azam, and he used to go to Gare Hira to do ibadat. We know that. If we were to say that he was a selected Pagambar, beloved of Allah, why did he need to do ibadat? Because Allah's habit does not change. It is Qanun of Allah, law of Allah, that everybody has to go through the same process. So yes, Miraj is the highest point in the journey of spirituality, because at that stage there is a complete recognition.
So is Miraj die before you die?
Yes, it happens in the stages. At Miraj, he died and he came back to life. He went to Asal Maqam and he came back. It happens, the process happens particles by particles. All of us, we have to practice physically to be able to get there. Physical practice, spiritual practice and then intellectual practice. Physically, we are able to be disciplined, then get to the spiritual practices, be disciplined, and then get there. So there are conditions for each stages. Any other question?
I have one question about this the journey about Miraj. The
Yes.
Prophet rode on a horse and he went to Jerusalem, and then from there he was cleansed and went up. How do you relate to these young kids if you're telling them the story at night about this Miraj on a horse? The horse name was White Horse Birak. That's what we learned in school.
So I did talk about the horse in detail. I did talk about it. If you have not heard the beginning, we'll share the recording and you can listen to it. But if you were to ask about all those stops where Jibril asks Prophet Muhammad to dismount and pray, that means that even at the level of elevation, you got to continue to pray. You can never say that you will not practice, even though you get to the higher level. How do we understand? At a physical level, if a company has a CEO, that CEO also has to meet the requirements of continuing education or keeping his license up to be able to stay CEO of that company, to continue to prove to the company that he is capable of doing his job. He is CEO. He has crossed through all the levels. Now he is CEO. Why does he have to keep his license valid? Why does he have to perform in front of company to show that he is capable? But that's the worldly expectation. Similarly, when Jibril is taking him to the highest elevation, he asks him to stop and pray. Stop and pray. A mu'min who is on the path of becoming an angel, as Sultan Muhammad Shah says, right, that we have two paths. You can become an animal or an angel. The duty of the angel, the job of the angel is to just do zikr ibadat, nothing else. Animal has instincts. He may do or may not do because he follows the instincts. But an angel, he doesn't have free will. He will only obey and pray and do ibadat or zikr. A human has free will to say no. But that human, when suppresses the carnal soul and becomes the angel, there is no free will because there is complete submission. Just prayers, just zikr or ibadat. And that's what it indicates. Stop at Bethlehem, stop at Musa's grave, stop at Masjid al-Aqsa to pray. Because that was his job. Pray for the whole humanity. He was Rahmatul lil Alameen. He wasn't praying for himself. He was actually praying for us.
Thank you.
Any other question?
Is it true that Prophet Muhammad was given a bowl of kheer and then the hand which came out had a ring on it and that ring was of Hazrat Ali? Just a myth, stories.
Okay, in the beginning actually I did mention about the hand. All these are stories to draw attention. Remember, when it is spiritual, when the experience is spiritual, it becomes different version of the stories based on the perception of listeners. But we are seekers of essence. When we talk of hand or Ali, the angels were doing the tawaf of Ali. The recognition we talk about, it is the recognition of the Imam. It is the recognition of the Imam. And that's why all what we are doing today even, what is the end objective? To get to the recognition of Imam.
The Shanakat of Imam is definitely the thing which we have to attain.
All these are versions of the stories. The intellectual search of this event would be, what is the Batin of it? And that's what we did here. Thank you, friends. Thank you so much for joining. I truly appreciate you. Inshallah, I'll see you tomorrow. And we are talking about paradise. Tomorrow is the second session of that series. Same time, 8 o'clock. Inshallah. Yali Madad.
Yani Madad.
Yali Madad.
Yani Madad.
Yali Madad. Yali Madad.